Hello and welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host, an Untitled Anarchist Seagull, and yeah, it continues to be quite fucking horrible, doesn't it? The last I'm hearing is apparently ground forces are advancing towards Al-Shifa Hospital, which has been attacked numerous fucking times over the past 15 years, including with chemical weapons like white phosphorus. So yeah, utterly horrible. Meanwhile, the German police, the Berlin police, today there was a demo in Berlin against the genocide, and the cops did not allow them to chant either "Stop the genocide" or "From the river to the sea, we want equality." German cops being German cops, they're basically the same motherfuckers they've always been. Let me see, I think okay, that's a little bit better. So, this stream might possibly blow up a little bit because of an interesting little bit of timing. I got just retweeted by somebody with 370,000 followers. Karen Atia retweeted me with apparently the name was familiar. She's apparently, amongst other things, a weightlifter and Washington Post columnist, and she quote tweeted me with approval. So just before this thing starts, so for all I know, we might have a bunch of people who look at that, go to my Twitter feed, and see that this is going on, and show up in here. So I've actually got everything set up just in case I end up getting some sort of influx of assholes off of it. Hello, River Rune, how you doing? Is what I had said was, here you can see it. I will drop the link in chat. See, somebody had pointed out that, okay, so somebody had said, people think genocide is hyperbole, but it is not. When leaders of regimes go on TV and declare every person in civil society, journalists, ambulance drivers, aid workers, as de facto combatants, they are setting the stage for mass murder. That's what's happening here. And so I had just noted that in this context, see, Craig Bukiver, the former director of the New York office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights at the UN, in his resignation letter, he had mentioned Radio Mille Collines, the radio station in Rwanda that broadcast all sorts of fucked up shit, just all sorts of genocidal shit, and sent me down a bit of a Rwanda rabbit hole. And so I ended up looking into that and reading some of the documents, some of the decisions from the genocide trials. And one of the things that I had noticed there was something very similar to what we see Israel and the US doing, where, having already said, yeah, we want to kill them all, they turn around and say, oh, we're only really against the Tutsi League and the RPF. Having already, or in this case, Hamas, having already made it clear that they just equate everybody in the Palestinian population to Hamas. I mean, it is literally the same fucking thing. Oh, I thought, well, yes, you can indeed. That's right, yeah, you're not one of the people who found me off Twitter, you found me off of Poly People, I think it was. Or Thought Slime, I don't remember. So, yeah. it'll be interesting to see what that sort of timing does to the viewing on this and to chat. Maybe it may be time for me to get more than one mod in there, a mod besides me. But so I've got some interesting stuff I think to look at. I think we're gonna start out with Shouty Car Guy, because Shouty Car Guy is just a good place to start. He's just so impressively full of shit, and oh, it was John the Duncan, that's right. Yeah, now I remember. In which case, let me just mention, I am only 15,000 words away from finishing the draft, the draft of the translation of Kollonthai's Social Basis of the Female Question now. I am seriously closing in on it. And looking forward to actually finishing the edit, because that's the next time I get paid. My health insurance totally fucking screwed me over. So, support is very much welcome. You can use the tip command, my Patreon and stuff like that. It's all a very big help, and it helps me continue to make this stuff by covering my expenses. Let me just say that as we look at Asher Jack's Shouty Car Asshole in The Media Homosexualize, which is not even like a phrase. Like, that's just not coherent. You'd put if a linguist would put a big fucking asterisk next to that. But we're gonna find out. And let me know. No, fuck that.
Last year, Cyber broke all these fan-led sales records because of my irresponsible offer.
Yeah, fuck that. Okay, and just let me know if I need to make any adjustments to the volume on the video or to, my microphone and stuff. Just let me know, and we will get started. And once again, he just looks like every character Adam Sandler ever played. Doesn't he?
What's up? So I'm going to do a quick video on this topic about homosexuality again. And
again, because as we saw a couple of weeks ago, he did a whole thing about how the homosexualists are taking over his gym. And he doesn't like that, because for some reason he ended up no longer going to the gym that he liked, where there were a bunch of hot girls for him to sexually harass, and then he ended up in one that is now being taken over by the homosexualists. This is a topic he does come back to often, and I love it. He is in a car park again. I wonder what it is this time.
Really, why?
This actually looks like a residential area. Maybe he's just parked outside his house. In which case, why the fuck isn't he just doing this in his living room or something, like Caleb Muppet?
I personally am 100% against it. I don't accept it. I don't.
And nobody was offering it to you, I don't think.
I'm not one of those people that's going to sit here and say, I don't have a problem with what they do. Just, don't shut your mouth. No. I have a problem with it.
Yeah, well, you have a problem. That much is clear.
I've made that abundantly clear.
Yeah, you have. Nobody's in any kind of doubt about that.
And this is what I think everyone should start doing. Instead of starting anything you have to say about them with, I don't have a problem with blood. No.
Well, and I will just say, that is such bullshit, because the people who say, I don't have a problem with it, but, yeah, they fucking have a problem. They're about to tell you they have a problem with it. Because they're assholes. And this guy is just saying that assholes, I guess, should own it. Assholes like him, they should just get in their cars and scream at their dashboards and upload it to YouTube and get 12,000 subscribers.
You have a problem with it. You find it gross. Whatever your reason is. Or you're a Christian.
Or maybe you just suck. Maybe you're just one of those suck shit people.
Whatever your reason is, just say the reason.
Yeah, because if there was a problem, if there was one problem that we have as a society, it's that queerphobic people weren't vocal enough about it.
Having the little thing at the beginning where it's like, well, I don't have a problem with it. Just say you got a problem with it. And stop thinking that every...
And then just shut the fuck up and go off to someplace where nobody else is, so that we can all just get on with it.
Media says it's true, because the media, this is how they get you, they lie. They'll take some dumb idiot, like the owner of a bakery shop, right? And then they'll have this idiot bakery...
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, that motherfucker actually knows how to make cake. You just scream at dashboarded car. I would say that the bakery person probably at least knows how to do something. We've not seen any evidence of this guy having any particular talent or skill. I mean, well, except a fashion sense. I mean, he does have just this amazing fucking look. I mean, check out this ensemble here, with the fucking sweatshirt that clearly has not been washed since probably Obama got in, and this like weird ass shave he's doing, and he's got the S hat, whatever the hell that is. Hello, Adria. Yes, this Rage Lord again. He's telling us how he's telling us other reasons that he sucks.
The owner on the news saying, well, you know, I bake cakes all the time, and I just couldn't make a cake for their wedding because, you know, that's just how I don't choose to live my life. You know, I can't personally do that. Tools of the media to brainwash. Idiot.
Tools of the media to brainwash you. I thought it was just what the baker said, so the media put the baker up to it.
It's a tool of the media to brainwash you. Do not buy into that.
Buy into what? Okay, he's coming in hot. He's swinging it in high.
Don't care if they get married. No. Leviticus 2013. Leviticus 2013 does not say anything about marriage. What does that really say? Go look it up. I'm not even say.
Who gives a fuck? Like, I mean, Leviticus says a whole bunch of other shit you don't care about. I mean, you're shaving your fucking beard. I mean, like, attempting it anyway. So clearly, that bit of Leviticus is just kind of has been retconned out. I'm gonna guess there's at least one garment he has on that is a poly blend. So yeah, it's really it's always really impressive when you get these guys who have decided they really care about Leviticus.
Leviticus 2013. That's what you need to know about the Bible says about homosexuality. Okay?
He's not even driving.
Don't believe.
He's not even fucking driving. He's just sitting in a car park.
These tools they put on the news and try to make these issues homosexuals get mad. No, it's all disgusting. It's all wrong, okay?
Well, then maybe don't fucking watch them. I mean, like, why do you care? Are they inviting you to watch? Then just say no. Not my thing.
And they also do these fake polls in the media where like, we did a poll, a Gallup poll, and the poll came out.
No, it's not we did a Gallup poll, it's Gallup did a poll.
Get this, guys. It came out, and they say something like it's so scientific or whatever. The poll came out, and it determined...
Wow, shit, even the polls are coming out now.
That 93.5% of the American population is 100% okay with homosexuals getting married and homosexuals having private rights and homosexuals getting...
Then why, okay, and you don't believe that this is true, then why are you angry? Everybody agrees with you, apparently, in your fantasy world, so why are you angry? I mean, surely you should have no problem. Why you hide in your car while you talk about this stuff, if you don't believe that most people think you suck?
Regularly integrated into society. And you're just like, and this is what they do. They trick people, and then the people are like, whoa, well, it's 93.5%. Well, I must be part of the 6.5%.
Yeah, that's right. You are. You are.
That doesn't agree with it. So I'm in a real small minority. So let me.
Yep, that's right. You are. I mean, you are in a very tiny minority. Like, even I should note that that is a minority that is as small as people who trust the U.S. healthcare insurance industry. That also, they get their approval rating. That industry's approval rating is like 7%.
Just keep my mouth shut and not say anything and just.
Yeah, well, you could, yeah. Or you could get in your car, put your phone on your dash, put on a sweatshirt that looks like you dragged it out of a wheelie bin, and scream incoherently and upload it to YouTube.
Get out of control and smuggle out of control like it is right now. You have a homosexual in every movie and every TV show, and here's another way they trick you. In these shows, in these Hollywood TV shows, or these movies, whatever, have you pay attention next time you watch one of these, because they do this in every show. The homosexual in the show is always like the funniest, the smartest, the most loyal.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the movie, it's called realism.
You know, everyone confides in him. That is so far from reality, it's not even fun.
Yeah, because, I mean, he hangs out with, well, the homosexuals, they took over his gym, see? And he doesn't confide in any of them. So, obviously, this is unrealistic.
Who literally, what straight man hangs out with a homosexual with his group of friends and tells them all his secrets about, hey, what do you think I should do here? What do you think I should do there?
It's called having friends, dude. That's kind of what having friends is. Maybe now I understand why he thinks this is unrealistic. He's unfamiliar with the concept of having friends. This is like that movie where Tom Hanks was on the deserted island, stranded, and he starts talking to, like, bearing his heart out to a fucking volleyball. Except the phone on his dashboard, that's his volleyball.
Oh, let me call him to the rescue. No! It's all bullshit! So, the media lies and tricks people into thinking that
Like,
everyone just accepts it, and if you don't accept it, you are the problem, and you...
yeah, but you are. I mean, you just are. The media didn't accept it for a long time. I mean, the media are still, like, publishing all sorts of anti-trans propaganda. I mean, for the longest time, the media didn't. The reason the media eventually got with the program was because it became just, they were the odd ones out.
You are in a very small minority.
Yeah, Castaway.
Well, let me tell you something,
This
guys.
is Castaway, except it's like Assaway. He's just, asshole just sits in his car and screams. It's like Castaway crossed with that, Saving Christmas movie where Kirk Cameron sits in a car the whole time and lectures people. And it's like the worst rated movie on all of IMDb, and Kirk Cameron, of course, believes that this is a conspiracy against Christians.
I don't care if I'm at a 6.5%, 6.2%, 6.5%, whatever it is, I'm speaking out, because not enough people are speaking out. They're terrified to speak out.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, in fact, that's a good thing. In fact, I think that the fear of speaking out should be totally reinforced, periodically.
What's happening now? Now we're arguing about gender and transgender, and you're going to...
Yeah, why? Yeah, society's improving. Why did society have to improve?
A boy, but you could be a girl? No! Where does it stop?
The only genders are a man and the dashboard he yells at.
It's so perverted and so many degenerates now. More people need to speak up against this filth and this...
So get in your car, put your phone on your dashboard, and scream incoherently for America.
Version. I mean, come on. I feel like sometimes I'm one of those guys on a bullhorn just shouting it out.
Except you're not even that. Like, I mean, that you're actually a degree of patheticness. A degree of pathoticity that is below the lone asshole shouting homophobia into a bullhorn. You're the lone asshole shouting homophobia into your fucking dashboard.
And everyone else is just like scared to say anything. But the truth of the matter is, look, I've talked to many people about this.
He has never talked to a person in his life. He only talks to dashboard. He has drawn a face on dashboard. Dashboard is his only friend.
I meet new people to bring this up because I really want to get an idea. Are these polls
you should try getting an idea.
factual or not? And 95, the other way, the 95% of the people in the other camp are like, no, I find it disgusting. But they always say, but, you know, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't like it. I want my kid to...
You know, those polls actually do have a whole scale to take into account people who say this sort of thing.
That, but I don't have a problem. No, just say it. You do have a problem with it, okay? You don't like it. You find it gross. Is that a problem to say that? No! It's a...
Sir, I'm a Honda Accord. I can't actually talk back.
Problem not to say that, because if you don't say that, you're not standing up to these bullies, these homosexual liberal bullies. So come on, guys. Get with the program. I know I was playing GTA 5 one time.
Oh, welcome, Phoenix. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
A long time ago online, and I was playing, there was like this kid, I think he was like 12 years old from California, near LA, and he was like, faggot this, faggot
Wait, yeah, like one of those California places.
and I'm like, I was laughing, and I was like, did you say you're from California? And he's like, yeah, and I'm like, I thought everyone out there was like a huge proponent of homosexuality.
A homosexuality proponent. You know, we just go around like proposing homosexuality. We're a homosexuality proponent. I like that.
And he was like, everyone in my middle school says that, and I'm like,
Yeah, well, yeah. So you found a kindred spirit, and he's fucking 11, is what you're saying.
I'm like, case closed, baby, case closed.
This guy thinks that it actually makes his case look good, that the one ally he's found in it is a fucking literal child.
See, that's another thing. Because the homosexual activists and bullies and mafia.
Yeah, those are the characters you can choose. When you get initiated into the gay agenda, you can choose to be activist, bully, or mafia. I chose mafia. Because I like gabagool.
Have prevented you from being able to say it like on YouTube or TikTok.
You're on YouTube, motherfucker. You're not being prevented from saying it. Your completely zero effort content here is so heavily boosted. You got 12K subscribers for screaming at your car.
Or any forums, even on Reddit, you can't even say it. Like if you're rebutting, like I hate, whatever, you'll get blocked. You'll get deleted off Reddit. You can't say it hardly anywhere. So what happens is people think because no one can say it on the internet, that no one feels that way or says it in real life.
You're on the internet saying it right now. Do you not know that this is that this is being uploaded to YouTube? Is this a joke somebody's playing on him?
That's the fact all the time. Are you kidding me? So it's
did somebody like bug his car? And he doesn't know that this is a video. He decided, he gets in his car, he screams incoherently, in fascist, and somebody then just uploads it, and it's just like everybody's hate watching him. Is that what's going on here?
a very popular word. Even though Eminem stopped saying his rap music, it's still going on. So don't ever feel
Like even Eminem stopped saying it.
like all of a sudden it's all accepted. It's not. And that's why I put in this video. Don't allow the media to lie and trick you because this is not accepted. It's not.
In every car in America, there's a guy screaming about homosexuals.
It's just, I can't even believe I'm having to go video on this.
Oh, he is a chick magnet. But the trouble is that the poll that he is presenting has the same polarity as they have. And so he's more of like a chick maglev. Like, if you laid all the chicks out of the world and you laid him horizontally on top, he would maintain a constant distance, levitating right above them, like 2 feet above them, and you could, like, fucking slide him from one side of the world to the other like it's air hockey.
Anyway,
He's a chick maglev.
I'll talk to you later.
He doesn't even edit out the bit where he turns off his fucking phone camera. Okay, there we go. And now I have to go all the way back down. I have my, like, reaction fodder playlist. What do I have? 572 videos. That's rather a lot. Okay, let's take him out. See, because I'm part of the homosexual mafia, you see, so I gotta take him out. I gotta fucking take him off the fucking playlist. Now, there's a bunch of stuff here. We got some Pim Tool. RNC chair heard cussing out! Vivek Ramaswamy. GOP is furious. Vivek winning! I've also got Weed Lord. I don't know if anyone in chat remembers Weed Lord. He used to be Tim Pool's little offsider. Who, like, Tim Pool would just sort of bully the fuck out of, actually. And now he's got his own reactionary bullshit content channel. We've also got Elon says wokeness is destroying civilization. He had to buy Twitter to stop the woke mind virus. I'm kind of heading towards that, actually. But then we've also got Weed Lord in The Mind of a Leftist Knows No Bounds. And I'm kind of curious about that one. Yeah, that's a short one. We got time. We got tons of time. I'm gonna start out with Weed Lord in The Mind of a Leftist Knows No Bounds. And we can, I'm sure we will finish that, and then there will be time to do another one as well. So here we go. It's Weed Lord time.
Ohio State residents, can you?
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Hi, Mark Barton. It's Sandy Hook Promise here. When the gunman...
Guys, I got it.
Oh, Weed Lord's gotten a haircut. And now he looks like, I mean, this motherfucker's always... Now all of a sudden he looks like he's in a fucking junior high principal's office. He's got the flag there, he's got, it looks like a whiskey bottle.
I gotta tell you, I found one of the worst takes I've ever seen.
That's really impressive considering this motherfucker used to work with Tim Pool.
On Twitter today.
How's the audio of the videos? Do I need to make any adjustments?
Or X. Do we just commit to calling it X?
No. No. In fact, did you know that every time you call a tweet, Elon Musk's balls start to hurt a little bit?
Do we just go full on to X?
No.
No longer Twitter. Are we just going full? It's X now?
But no.
Anyway, I kind of baited it out. I didn't mean to. I just... Well, let me show you. I think it's best to maybe just show you what happened here. Okay, so... The redheaded libertarian
who is not redheaded, it's worth noting. Okay. She's another one of Tim Pool's little sidekicks. Governor Karen, the absolute tyranny attempted over the citizens of New Mexico violated both the U.S. Constitution and your own New Mexico Constitution, you absolute demon. Anyone have any idea what the fuck this is about?
I don't know if you.
Oh, okay. Public health order related to gun violence is what it's about. But okay, but her name is not Karen. Her name is Michelle Lujan Grisham. Is the redheaded libertarian who is one of the most Karen people I've seen on YouTube. No, this guy, his real name is Adam Krigler. But Thought Slime and the Surfs call him Weed Lord because, especially back when he had really long hair, he always just looked like he was fucking high all the time. But no, there's another one. He's been replaced by Moonlord, who is an anti-Semite who likes to talk about mining the moon.
You know her, was calling out that tyrant of a governor down in New Mexico, trying to say something. I'll give you some more context. So a federal judge, basically shut her down. Said that's some unconstitutional shit.
No, no, that's literally not what happened. It's a temporary restraining order. It doesn't actually say that whatever her public health order was unconstitutional. It says the enforcement is being blocked until there's a ruling on the merits. Like, literally, it does mean that there's some chance of success on the part of the people who are challenging its constitutionality, but it doesn't automatically mean it's unconstitutional. Yeah, exactly. And then there's like what's his name, Turdkowski?
No idea. But listen to this. Today, a judge temporarily blocked sections of our public health order, but recognized the significant problem of gun violence in the state. I refuse to be resigned to the status quo, and I will never stop fighting to prevent other families from enduring these tragedies. You know what I think was really, what this really was with this governor trying to make this unconstitutional push to get rid of guns? I think it was an attempt to move the Overton window, shift it.
How? Like, does he not know what the Overton window is? Because the Overton window on this one already shifted. The gun industry is extremely unpopular. It isn't exactly unheard of for, like, gun control to be proposed. Like, for my entire fucking lifetime, which is fairly long at this point, gun control has been actually fairly widely proposed, and it never gets anywhere. And of course, the thing is that even if you made all guns legal, Nazis' guns would still be legal. And even if you made all guns legal, the guns of, like, people of color and, leftists would still be criminalized some way, in one way or another. And meanwhile, I mean, you look at the situation, you look at all the shit that's going on, and you look at the people who have almost all of the guns in this country, and, yeah, I mean, it's hard to really make the case that it's good to be the ones who don't have them. So it's not, but okay, let's see where he takes this.
Just running into it and just freaking shoulder checking it, just trying to, like, push it down the field. Right?
She's pushing the Overton window down the field.
Of course it's unconstitutional. Of course you have the freaking lefties coming out and going, we think that's just too far, unconstitutional. And everyone goes, wow.
The lefties are saying it's what? Who are the lefties? Who does this motherfucker think the lefties are?
Can you believe that they said that? Holy cow! Maybe the left isn't so crazy. Meanwhile, they've just gained 15 yards down the field. Oh wow! We could let our shields down a little bit.
Okay, so we've gone from an Overton window to, I'm guessing, American football? And now it's fucking Star Trek. They're letting their shields down. So you shoulder check the Overton window to move it down the field, and then you let your shields down.
And sure enough, they have gained ground. Of course it's unconstitutional. Of course a federal judge is going to get rid of that. But the damage is done. The Overton window has shifted more and more and more. I mean, look at the
I mean, wait, so what does he think the Overton window is exactly? Because if anything has shifted the Overton window on the issue of guns, I would have thought it might be something to do with the fact that it seems like every fucking 5 minutes, some fucker who turns out to have fash ties goes into some place and just shoots a huge number of random people. I would have thought that might have affected the Overton window on this. But, put his shit down the fields so you can take your shields down and beam an away team, or I don't know what the fuck this guy's saying.
Past 20 years, where we started to where we are now, holy shit, we are in a completely different place.
Ferengi.
So I think that's what I think this was. But regardless, not really talking about that, although hopefully you guys find out that a judge did strike that shit down, which is...
No, he didn't, actually. A temporary restraining order is preliminary. He might strike it. The judge might strike it down. They might not strike it down.
Don't get me wrong, I'm quite happy about it. And listen to what Josie says to this woman. Dear Governor Karen, the absolute tyranny you attempted...
Her name isn't Karen.
...over the citizens of New Mexico violated both the U.S. Constitution and your own New Mexico Constitution. You absolute demon.
Also, she's not redheaded.
Simple, accurate, spicy. I love it.
Man, this motherfucker probably thinks a korma is a spicy curry.
Fantastic. So, she was quote tweeted by a interesting character named Chris Jeffries. Jeffries? I don't know who this is.
I don't know who this is either, but... Wait. Okay. This is gonna be great. Libertarians are into their right to kill children. Chris Jeffries, whoever the hell that is. He's apparently homeless romantic podcast is his thing. I've never heard of it. I don't know whether it's any good. And then Adam Weedlord Krigler says, I bet you're pro-choice. Well, fucking gotcha. Actually, I mean, let's remember, what's interesting to me as well about that is that the last I heard, Weedlord was also, like, pro-choice. Oh, content warning for a bit of ableism in Chris Jeffries' response.
Doesn't matter. He just says libertarians are into their right to kill children.
Well, that's not the only thing that libertarians are interested in doing to children.
Now, I read that and I was like, okay. Josie was calling out the tyrant, unconstitutional behavior from this governor, right? Nothing to do with children, although the governor was...
It was specifically to do with gun violence. I do believe probably children being victimized does come into that someplace. Like,
claiming to be basically striking
yeah, says, what is going on here? We need to shut this whole thing down until we can find out what is going on. Yes, that is a common response to a Weed Lord sentence. Weed Lord does not do sentences well. I mean, he just sort of shoulder checks the Overton window to push it down the field so he can put his shields down and fire a photon torpedo? I don't fucking know.
2A. For the children. It's all for the children, to quote Nancy Pelosi. You know that's a whole bunch of crap. Criminals, the trannies killing people.
What? The T-slurs killing people, like, that's a thing now, is it? See, last I checked, it was more the other way around, dude.
Which is a thing. I don't know if you noticed. Or
No, I didn't notice because it's not a thing, but I mean, honestly, again, as I said, the way things are at the moment, I mean, if there's any group of people, I mean, if you were making a list of groups of people in the U.S. who need to be prepared to defend themselves, I don't think that you would have to go very far to find trans people on that list.
or the people hopped up on SSRIs and their mental brainwaves are all
They're mental brainwaves.
freaking misfiring, causing these tragedies, or just again criminals or gangs, stuff like that. And I
Or Nazis. You left out Nazis, and when it comes to like mass shootings, that's kind of the main people doing them.
I bet you're pro-choice, because if you think about what abortion is,
Then it's a completely different fucking thing and totally irrelevant.
well, libertarians are into the right to kill children. Well, what about abortion? I
Yes, and Chris Jeffries totally fucking owned you in a very ableist sort of way.
bet you're pro-choice. And this guy, oh, does he respond? Listen to this response. Holy crap!
Yeah. I mean, you were doing better if you didn't show the response, because ableism aside, he kind of like low-key clowned on you. But what about your mental brainwaves, Phoenix, as opposed to the other brainwaves, which are non-mental, I guess?
I am. Because gelatinous vagina boogers aren't human.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a really great understanding of reproductive anatomy, but, I mean, yeah, I mean, not the same thing.
Then he says, go shoot some more toddlers, retard. That's what he said to me.
Yeah, we can see that. We've been reading it for like 20 minutes now.
I'm YouTube, that's not me saying
You didn't have to show us this. You think that this looks better? You think this looks good for you, does it?
I'm reading this insane response to me betting that he's pro-choice. Of course, he was pro-choice. Now, of course, I just was simply stating, I bet you're pro-choice.
Like, yeah, which is totally fucking irrelevant unless you're trying to say that being pro-choice, supporting reproductive freedom, is the same thing as thinking that mass shootings are good.
Mean anything, right? But this guy obviously was just firing back and
Yeah, and I'd say he hit.
crazy. Then he goes, there were 2,590 gun deaths among U.S. children and teens under the age of 18 in 2021. Of course, you have to look at ages 15 to 18 and how much of that was gang-related.
Well, yeah, but who cares? Like, what's your point? I mean, clearly, whether it was gang related or not, his point is they were getting shot. Like, is it, are the guns gangs use not really guns? Is that the idea? Or is he saying, like, I mean, or is he saying, you know, that's probably black and brown people, and so, I mean, why are we counting that?
Certain cultures, certain cities, Chicago, Baltimore.
Certain cultures, he's doing racism here.
You know, places that they don't care about crime. Or Chicago's really bad. I've talked about it, how the north side of Chicago basically just got rid of all low-income housing and just sent a whole bunch of gangs to the south side, and it's just gang wars.
Wait, so low-income housing equals gangs? And actually, I mean, if he actually gave a fuck about the communities he's talking to, which obviously he very clearly does not. It, like, really clearly does not give a fuck. And honestly, I think he could use some more weed. He needs to chill out a little bit more. Well, one of the things that those communities have been saying for a while is that it's actually low-key kind of weird how guns keep on randomly showing up in large numbers in their communities, and nobody has a very clear explanation, except there is some low-key belief that maybe the cops are involved in it. And given Chicago PD's record, honestly, you can't really put anything past them.
It's crazy in Chicago.
How the fuck would you know? You're not in Chicago. You're West Virginia.
But that is absolutely insane. Abortion isn't killing a kid, and then telling me...
But killing kids is killing a kid.
...to go shoot kids. Now,
I don't think he was specifically asking you to shoot kids. I believe that was actually him asking you to get fucked.
I was in shock. I had to take a picture.
It's called a screenshot, you dickhead.
Rarely take a picture, and I should do it more. But look at this. I took a screenshot because I was like, he might delete this because this is absolutely insane. I just wrote, holy fuck. And there's some...
Why would he delete it?
Interesting thing.
I mean, apart from the R slur, which fuck the R slur, that's fucked up. He shouldn't have said that. But other than that, like, I mean...
been coming out here. Give you one guess who wrote this post. Hint, it's not John Waters.
You mean it's the guy who was in the podcast that was listed in the bio of the guy who wrote it? Wow, gotcha. You found the thing that he advertises in his Twitter bio.
Homeless romantic. I'm guessing it's this, one of these freaks. Is this John Waters on the left? I actually don't know who John Waters is. Who's John Waters, guys? I love this from Toxic Manfu. Shout out to Toxic. Gun deaths.
Yeah, increased 50% between 2019 and 2021.
Among U.S. increased 50% between 2019 and 2020. It says, what I find funny is no one mentions that 2,590 in 2021 is the highest number since 1999.
Well, yeah, but clearly there's been a gradual increase, so I mean, I don't see why anyone would leave that out. What's going on? What's going on in LA, Adria?
What was going on in 1999? Perspective, that is 0.00036% of the 73 million children under 18 in the U.S. So it's actually insanely small.
Well, okay, now, since we're doing percentages, why don't you do the percentage of children in the U.S. who are trans and into school sports? Run the numbers on that one, since you seem to be a bit concerned about it. Or, like, the number of T-slurs killing people, which, is 1/300 millionth of the U.S. population. There's, like, literally one alleged case of that happening.
Small number. And then this also doesn't take into account the gang violence. Like,
What do you mean? Like, why does that not count?
how many of those under 18 are just in gangs that are getting shot by gangs? I almost got
Yeah, but shot with what?
shot when I was under 18. Would I just?
Yeah. I mean, that's you gotta when you go under 18, you have to be fucking careful. You just get shot. I mean, and that's nothing to do with guns. That's just like under 18, apparently.
In this statistic, guaranteed those guns were illegal that I got shot at. Razorfist says, "Wow, I guess it's all in the timing then." Right, because if you kill them when they're in the womb, they are just gelatinous vagina boogers. But if they're outside the womb, unless you're in California because they have the whole post-birth.
God, this is going in a very particular direction here.
Psychotic. I don't know.
They broke weed. This broke Weed Lord.
California's wrong. What's wrong with California? But holy crap. Yeah. So this was the most insane tweet I've seen in a very long time. I you can understand. I'm sure, right?
How is this? This is supposedly HD, but this looks like it's like 230p.
So
okay.
My wife got me this.
Okay.
I gotta tell you.
Yeah, you already told us it wasn't that impressive. Okay. So, here we go. Already saw that one. Oh, well, we've got some more shorts. Okay, this is cool. Lauren Southern, the white nationalist who, got caught in. She was trying to join with a bunch of neo-Nazis who were trying to sink refugee boats in the Mediterranean. Wonderful people. Wonderful person. You know, great fucking people that Tim Pool gets on here. Just classic humans.
Charlie Kirk has this tweet. A year after Elon Musk bought Twitter, he finally explains.
Oh, okay, let me just check to see what's going on there. I don't... Okay. It's blocking them to the extent that I, as the, like, owner of the channel, also can't actually see them to, you know, like, moderate them through, strangely enough. Okay, Charlie Kirk had a tweet, which, you know, I mean, all good stories begin this way.
Why? He says that the niche ideology that turned San Francisco into a zombie apocalypse would historically be
You
geographically
mean capitalism?
isolated, and the fallout would therefore be limited. But Twitter gave that philosophy an information technology weapon, which it could use to spread that mind virus to the whole planet unopposed. In order for the mind virus to
Wait, so the woke mind virus is what's putting the rent up in San Francisco? These wokes, all they want to do is make money for landlords.
propagate, it must suppress opposing viewpoints. Rogan says because it doesn't stand up to scrutiny, and Musk says correct. I'll just play the clip for you. It's 2 minutes long.
You've owned X for a year now.
The costume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's he wearing? Did you ever wake up?
What the fuck is he wearing?
And have a dream that you didn't do it, and your life is infinitely easier.
Well, it's certainly.
And you have quite a bit more money because you haven't just run the entire thing into the ground?
A recipe for trouble, I suppose, or contention.
What was it ultimately that led you to make the decision to do it?
You know, the fact that he was just getting clowned on constantly on Twitter?
I mean, this is going to sound somewhat melodramatic, but I was worried about that it was having a corrosive effect on civilization.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that has changed since Elon Musk took over Twitter, is that is so much less corrosive to civilization.
It's just having a bad impact.
It still is.
And
yeah,
part of it is that it's where it was located, which is downtown San Francisco. And while I think San Francisco is a beautiful city, and we should really fight hard to kind of right the ship of San Francisco, if you've walked around downtown San Francisco...
it's like tech billionaires like you that have ruined San Francisco.
You know, the FK...
That's why nobody can afford to live there.
Headquarters. It's a zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's rough. Have you been in that area?
Not lately. No.
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's crazy.
I've heard it's crazy. I've heard you really can't believe it until you actually go there.
You can't believe it until you go there. So now you have to say, well, what philosophy led to that outcome?
Capitalism.
And that philosophy was being piped to Earth. So
From where? It wasn't being piped from Earth?
philosophy that would be ordinarily quite niche and geographically constrained, so that sort of the fallout area would be limited, was effectively given an information a weapon.
Well, I mean, this guy's making Weed Lord seem coherent. Like, the antidote to this idea that Elon Musk is some sort of great genius is just listening to him try to explain what he thinks. In fact, listening to what he thinks at all.
An information technology weapon to propagate.
Understandable. And I hope we can figure out a way for fucking comments to get through, because I'm not actually... I mean, it isn't even that they're showing up. I have the YouTube channel open right now, and it isn't like showing up as things that need to be like let through in moderation or anything like that. So it's not showing me them anywhere, so I don't even know what's going on. Sorry about that.
What is essentially a mind virus to the rest of Earth. And the outcome of that mind virus is very clear if you walk around the streets of downtown San Francisco.
So, I mean, really, he hits the nail on the head. If you look at San Francisco, the human feces everywhere, the ridiculous real estate prices, it's a wasteland of failed policy. But
so the idea is that the woke mind, he's like literally gonna claim that the woke mind virus is why the rent's so high? Is that where he's actually going with this? I mean, the people who usually try to blame wokeness for there being homeless, unhoused people usually leave out the fact that housing is so fucking expensive because it gives the game away. Like, you're not supposed to point that out, that the issue is that they can't afford housing, because if you acknowledge that they can't afford housing, then it's obvious why they're unhoused.
Because so much information control was centralized there, information systems, it was piping that I would call it like fecal data.
Yeah.
The equivalent of feces in data form into the
Fecal data, so that's like lore, I guess.
brains of people, and it was just melting their brains and tainting them with a mind virus.
And that made housing expensive?
You look at San Francisco and you can see that ideology is and has been popping up all over this country. Elon is trying to shut it down. I still think he's got a long way.
What ideology, though? You still haven't said what ideology. You haven't, are we gonna get any...
to go.
Beyond that, there's also just failed governmental.
Is there a protest there, I'm guessing? Is there another, like, anti-genocide protest going on?
Policy that plays a huge role in that. If we're looking at DAs who aren't prosecuting violent crime, people who are...
What DAs aren't prosecuting violent crime? Well, I mean, violent crime by the people who listen to Tim Pool's show? I mean, yeah, okay, you can argue that, yeah, those people aren't getting prosecuted anywhere near as much as people who do much less shit. But I don't know that that's what they're here complaining about.
I'd actually be interested to know what your position is as a libertarian. On go ahead.
But it's the policy is because of social media.
What policy, though? Like, literally, what fucking policy?
It's the ideology
People
that's
getting
spread.
elected.
What ideology? Are you gonna say what the fucking thing is that you're talking about? It's the policy. You see, it's Twitter. It's Twitter. They're the ones who had the ideology. The policy comes from the ideology. See, the policy. It's the fecal. See, you got the Twitter and the fecal data, and the fecal data makes the ideology into the virus. And then the ideology turns into the policy and rent go up. Good to hear that there was a protest all day. Was it a big one? I can't believe... fucking LAPD. They really go the extra mile to just... terrorize the general public. I mean, I still remember I spent a little while in Echo Park, and the way they would buzz people's homes with their fucking helicopters.
It was the free speech wing of the free speech party, and then it turned into a campus safe space for a bunch of whiny baby millennials.
But look at
If there's one thing that whiny baby millennials love, it's seeing the rent go up. Because whiny baby millennials, they don't want to be able to afford housing, they just want to be able to post memes about avocado toast.
who's opposing Elon Musk now. He's gotten a lot of pushback from the woke cartel, as I call it.
Like, are we gonna ever get any fucking detail about what they're even talking about? Like, they edited this. So maybe they edited out. They've decided that even by Tim Pool standards, the bit where they actually explain what exactly they're even talking about was just too incoherent.
One of the major pushbacks he's getting is from the ADL. I mean, he had to sue them because they
actually the ADL praised him after what was really remarkable was that the head of the ADL, Greenblatt, actually like described Elon Musk as like the modern day Henry Ford in all senses of the word, because Elon Musk was like a fucking Nazi. But he made it clear he meant that as a compliment, because actually the ADL these days, they're kind of cool with Nazis. Don't really mind anti-Semitism, because all they are is just a pro-Israel group. Yeah. And LASD, you have those wonderful deputy gangs and shit.
He wrecked his business at in the beginning, ruining his advertising base, pulling all these advertisers out. Now, what is that about?
Well, maybe it's because advertisers don't like being associated with neo-Nazis. Like, I mean, just because Justin Trudeau likes to fucking give him a standing O, doesn't necessarily mean that, like, your fucking Weetabix necessarily wants to have their ads appear alongside Richard Spencer.
So we're looking at it, this mind virus is in the establishment, and it includes trying to squelch speech. And
okay, but what about the rent? We heard...
And it includes critical discourse about some very serious issues.
Oh shit. The woke mind virus involves critical discourse about some very serious issues. Those are the exact kind of issues that you do not want critical discourse on. Okay, and how does all of this explain why the rent's so high in San Francisco? Are we gonna get back to that? Are we like, have we just gone off and now we're heading to our desert island to yell at our volleyball?
And groups like the ADL that have all of this kind of power in the system because they're automatically perceived by anyone who isn't aware of what's going on as a net force for positive good in the world.
I mean, I will say that is definitely, I mean, this guy, I almost certainly is going someplace very fucked up with this. But it's true that the ADL has an utterly undeserved positive reputation. Because, like, more than half a century ago, they used to be sort of a Jewish civil rights organization. And then starting in about 1967, they just became, like, the people who find all sorts of excuses to accuse anyone who doesn't like U.S. imperialism of anti-Semitism. Like, they had anti-South African apartheid campaigners under surveillance and all sorts of fucked up things. In fact, I mean, you'd think that Elon Musk would have liked the ADL, given that, again, they had anti-South African apartheid campaigners under surveillance.
Weaponized time and time again against various people who just happen to have ideas that they disagree with.
Mm-hmm. So you were a leftist professor.
Yes, I was.
And
who the hell is this guy?
You broke out of this because you said the left traumatized you.
Yeah, they traumatized me.
What did they do?
They came after me. Like
Who is this guy? Okay, does it say? Oh, holy shit! That's Michael Recton. Well, I haven't seen him in ages. He was like one of the very first people I blocked on Facebook. I have literally never seen this guy. I interacted with him on Facebook years and years and years ago, and he struck me as dodgy as fuck then. This is before he was revealed to have like a white nationalist alt account, which is what traumatized him. But I mean, his thing for the longest time, first of all, he had this organization that had this dodgy ass name, the Center for Legitimate Government, which just sounds, I don't know, anytime there's this, like, totally innocuous name to a thing, I immediately distrust it. But then his whole thing was that, like, revolutionaries shouldn't do anything. They should just wait around and the material conditions will just do it for themselves. I mean, he was just always... I mean, the whole thing was just, it struck me as sus as hell, and he just was always very dishonest in his way of arguing, and now this motherfucker, see, I always, on a certain level, it's kind of nice to see this, because it's like, I picked that shit 14 years ago. I recognized that this guy was a piece of shit. Oh.
I started criticizing all this social justice woke stuff on campus. For example, the no platforming,
You mean like not allowing Nazis to speak? I wonder if he's going to mention that the big thing that really caused him problems was precisely that he started a white nationalist alt account.
Bias reporting hotline. That was a big one. They instituted this like reporting spy system in which the students could report on you for making a woke infraction. But
You mean like being racist or something?
they call a bias infraction, and I thought it was like a Stasi state system, and I spoke up about it. I would not put the phone number.
A Stasi system, motherfucker. This guy used to be an ML.
Or the email address of this bias report.
Well, he used to pretend to be one anyway.
On my syllabi. Okay, so then I was interviewed. I started this Twitter account. It's now been canceled before Elon took over, but I can't get it back. It was called Anti-PC NYU Prof. And
yeah, that was his white nationalist alt.
I started tweeting criticisms of all this from the standpoint of a professor at NYU was interviewed.
And Twitter banned you?
Not yet.
No, I mean,
they did ban it.
They eventually banned.
Yeah, I mean, this got exposed, and honestly, I mean, I was unsurprised by this. I don't know. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I seem to notice that people are dodgy reliably a couple of years before anyone else seems to notice. I mean, and this guy, there was something. First of all, he had a dishonest way of arguing. I mean, it was just very bullshit, bad faith crap. And the way every single one of his prescriptions for what, like, revolutionary leftists should do came down to inaction. And it's like, yeah, I don't trust this guy at all. And I decided, yeah, so I decided to just block him. I was just sick of him. He was just because he was an asshole, basically. And I had to say, I have not regretted that.
And this profile.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah. And I haven't been able to revive it even after Elon's takeover. But then I did this interview, and I criticized all this stuff publicly, and within 2 days, the dean called.
It's not often that I actually get somebody on the JabroniCon keynote audition series who I've personally told to fuck himself.
Calls me into the office, coerces me into a leave of absence. The diversity
it's like I'm famous.
Inclusion group condemns me. I get a bunch of blistering emails from faculty.
I don't set out to climb the highest peaks or travel farther than anyone else before.
You just seek to interrupt my fucking stream.
Nazi, short pants, white devil, all kinds of ludicrous things.
Yeah, just because he said a bunch of white nationalist shit. And stand fascists.
Racist, sexist, the whole 9 yards.
Anti-gay.
Now, today, I would just, what I'd write back is LOL. But then I actually cared what these people thought.
Just remember the people tearing down.
Yeah, and then he realized the money is on grifting on the far right.
The people tearing down those photos of the Israelis would actually be the ones calling you a Nazi.
Probably.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that the Nazis are attacking pro-Palestine demos because the thing is, anti-Semites love Israel. Like, I mean, and it's mutual. Like, Netanyahu's and not just Netanyahu, like his predecessor governments, the fucking liberal Zionists as well. Have long maintained cordial relations with the worst neo-Nazis in Europe in particular. Yeah, I mean, Fash actually loved this stuff. Richard Spencer notoriously called himself a white Zionist. I mean, comrade of mine up in the Pacific Northwest was told us a while ago, like a couple of weeks ago, about how like a Nazi showed up to pull a gun at a pro-Palestine rally there. And fortunately, there were some comrades who also were strapped and managed to disarm the motherfucker. I mean, the cops were watching the whole thing, did absolutely nothing. They basically prevented a mass shooting on their own because fuck the police.
then. So
Yeah, they would.
Yes.
Well, so at the time, what did you do? You wrote an apology or something?
Oh, no. No,
No, he's never apologized for anything. He's an asshole.
I wrote Springtime for Snowflakes, for one. Okay. And, I've actually sued them. I sued NYU and 5 professors that were libeling me all through the official NYU listservs. And eventually they settled with me. You know how I got them to settle? You'll love this. They threw out they filed a motion to dismiss the case. And my lawyers could not overtake this huge army of attorneys that NYU had. So I invited Milo Yiannopoulos to speak in my classroom.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can see this guy's a piece of shit. He just...
Listen to this.
I mean, this is like, how does this get them to settle? Like, if the problem was that they were allegedly libeling him by, saying he's far right, that he's fash, that, as he just admitted, he was not facilitating students to exercise their right to complain of any kind of, like, bigoted treatment they were receiving. And so he decides to bring a fucking fascist, platform of fascist in his class?
Halloween itself, okay? And the topic of the talk was going to be how you're not allowed to wear a Halloween costume for one night, but you can change your gender by day.
So trans people are allowed to exist. Well, I mean, in 32% of the United States. But you can't have a racist Halloween costume. Except that you totally can. Somebody might criticize you, but...
And they shut it down. Guess this. De Blasio actually intervened and shut down my classroom himself.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He called NYU and said this is too dangerous to take place. Now, of course, we know the danger was coming from Antifa, who actually...
Yeah, because you were platforming a fascist, and the thing is that when you give fascists a platform, they're never just fucking talking, and usually they will, like, go around and, like, try to beat the fuck out of any marginalized people they happen to see. So, yeah. Good on the comrades in New York for shutting this bullshit down.
Actually put a target on my back, and through Twitter were threatening to kill me.
Wow.
I've been told that Antifa is not even a real thing. It's not even a real thing.
Oh, it's just an idea.
It's just
an idea that's in a lot of...
Well, no, it's not an organization. That does not make it not a thing that exists. Antifa. Like, shut the fuck
People's
up.
heads to make them act like Antifa.
To what you said, though, like, what you went through kind of circles the point of what you're saying. Is like, if you push back...
It circles something.
Yeah.
Most people don't have the resources to go against groups like this, which have massive budgets, endowments.
Motherfucker, you are far-right grifters are funded by billionaires. These people talking about they have no money. Like, Steven Crowder turned down 50 mil. He turned down 50 mil. Talking about they don't have any money. Like, if he had won, the Koch brothers would love to have taken his case, and if they did not actually, like, put any money towards his defense, it's probably because they decided it was pointless.
Whole groups, cadres of lawyers to back up.
I realized I touched the third rail. There was significant power behind that, and I realized at that point that this social justice, or what we now call wokeness, was really the power. This was.
Are we going to get back to how this makes the rent expensive in San Francisco? I was promised an explanation of how the woke mind virus makes the rent expensive in San Francisco.
In the power structure.
If everybody who was currently facing a criminal proceeding pleaded not guilty, the system would collapse.
Really?
Well, no, not if they pleaded not guilty. If they insisted on going to trial, if they insisted on a jury trial, it would. In fact, John Ashcroft, when he was federal AG back like 20 years ago, he had the brilliant idea that he clearly did not talk to any U.S. attorneys about before trying and making it or an official policy of the DOJ. Said the DOJ was no longer going to be accepting plea deals. Everything was going to trial. And immediately, like, the entire criminal bar, the entire federal criminal bar said this is going to just completely shut the courts down. Because the entire system is premised on criminal defendants not exercising their right to a trial. Like, the minute, I mean, and this is precisely why it is so important not to take a plea, particularly in situations where, like fucking Cop City, or like J20 a few years ago, where they do a mass arrest and it's all on completely bullshit charges, and they will try to intimidate people into taking a plea. And the reason they do that is because they know if this case is, properly, vigorously defended by committed defense counsel, they are at long odds to win it, and it's going to cost them a shitload of money, and it is going to take them a lot of time, and it might very well set a precedent that actually hurts them, because the minute they get an acquittal on this, the minute, they present one of these cases to a jury and the jury laughs them out of court, it looks bad. So it's not if they plead not guilty. It's if they insist on taking it all the way to trial. Like, a lot of people initially plead not guilty and then they change their plea because they've been intimidated into a plea deal.
The system relies on people taking plea bargains. And so that's why the system, in my view, is completely unconstitutional. It's I'm familiar with the jury tax or the trial tax. Some people call it different things. The idea being that they will always say to you, whatever it is you've committed, you're getting the maximum.
Right.
I mean, actually, there are jurisdictions where this sort of thing is actually not permitted. It's considered unethical for lawyers to engage in it. It's considered illegal or even unconstitutional for prosecutors and courts to entertain it. So, I mean...
Oh, you were speeding. That's you were going 20. You were going 30 over the limit. That's felony territory. You're getting a year in prison, and we're going to make sure that when you're convicted, you get it or plead guilty.
Accelerates the process. So they could funnel more people through.
Because they don't. It's impossible to act. Well, it's because nobody wants to do the work, and so this is a huge failure of our system.
Well, no, it's because prosecutors have a huge amount of discretion and no accountability. Like, prosecutors, I mean, supposedly, not only are they subject to the disciplinary rules of the bar, but, there are rules that specifically say lawyers who represent the government have a special heightened duty to be, like, honest and ethical in their professional dealings. But it's not how it works in practice. I mean, prosecutors get away with everything. Like, prosecutors, do disbarable shit, do more disbarable shit before breakfast than a defense lawyer does in their entire career, because a defense lawyer will actually face consequences for that shit. So, yeah. I mean, and there is no way to really hold a prosecutor accountable judicially, because there is absolute prosecutorial immunity for charging decisions. So you can't sue them. So there's basically, they have just within their bailiwick absolute power to just do whatever the fuck they want, no matter whether there's any serious legal basis for it or not, and they get away with all sorts of shit. So yeah, I mean, it's not that nobody wants to work. It's that it's also that the majority of the people in the criminal justice system, the so-called criminal justice system, the majority of defendants can't afford a lawyer who will make prosecutors earn their pay. Like, that's why when you have trials like OJ, and criminal trials against people with money, who can afford, a legal team, who can afford all the best investigators and experts and all sorts of shit, then suddenly these cases fall apart. If they had no money and they were having, like, a PD who was handling, like, 100 cases at the same time, they'd probably have to plead out, because they just wouldn't have a good chance at trial. A public defender would not really be, no matter how committed, would not be in a position to really hold the prosecution to their proof the way they would need to be. But if you can afford that kind of defense, like a defense that is on the same level in terms of resources as the prosecution, then the cases fall apart. But I noticed that it is time to start wrapping up. Thank you to everyone who joined. Always good to see you. Sounds really scary shit going on in LA, and I really hope everyone is okay. That they don't do anything too fucked up. And let me just say, if you're enjoying the stream, I would really appreciate it. I appreciate any support for the stream and support for my various projects. It's a difficult time at the moment, so with the tip command or Patreon, or it would be much appreciated there. And I will be back tomorrow, same time at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Hyperpolyglotting. For my language and chess stream, where I am playing chess and learning Georgian through chess content and giving all sorts of excellent language learning advice. So, have a good night and stay safe, and from a river to the sea, free Palestine, motherfuckers. Censure this. Just hope that fucking... oh, God. Have a good night.